Here we go then, guys, with my take on cabbage rolls. Now, yet again, this is one of those recipes you can put whatever you want in, really. The only thing that is the constant is the cabbage. Because without the cabbage, it wouldn't be cabbage rolls. I suppose you could use charred leaves, but then they'd be charred rolls. Head of lettuce, this is an ordinary white lettuce. I've tried Savoy before, didn't quite work because it's a bit too bit rough on the leaves. Minced beef, this is steak mince, ground beef they call it in America. My own passata, a couple of mushrooms, a couple of cloves of garlic, a beef stock cube, half a cup of long grain rice uncooked, onion, chopped tomatoes, salt, pepper, paprika, oil and parsley. And as I was saying, you can swap anything you want, really. You could use minced turkey, minced pork. You don't have to use passata. You can use tomatoes. You can use tomato soup even. You can leave the onion. You can leave the mushrooms out and keep the onions. And you can leave the garlic out if you're not a garlic fan. Okay, let's get cooking. First up, get a pan of water on the boil. A little bit of salt if you use salt. Don't overfill the pan like I did, it went everywhere. Cut the lumpy bit of stalk off the cabbage. And then core out the centre a bit, just so the boiling water can get right up inside and start easing those leaves off the stem. And then gently put the cabbage into the boiling water, cut side down. If you've got a lid, you can cover the pan, that'll speed it up a little bit. But 5 to 10 minutes should do, just so you can pry the leaves off the cabbage head. And while the cabbage is in the boiling water, you can get on with a few other things. Got the mince in the bowl ready. Dice the onion. And then dice the mushrooms. We're about 7.5 minutes in with this, it's a medium cabbage I suppose, and you can see the leaves are falling off already. So our plate ready, and gently, very very gently, I mean you've gone to all this hard work so you don't want to waste it now, very gently tease the outer leaves off the cabbage. I know that I need 8 leaves for this size dish I'm doing, so I've taken about 10 or 12 actually. But if you get to the point where you can't get the leaves off anymore and you need more, then put it back in the boiling water for a couple of minutes and be surprised. By peeling too many leaves off, you've got a few spare just in case, but also I will be using these to cover the dish later on, as you will see. Right, now the leaves have cooled down a little bit and you're not doing the 8-finger shuffle, what you need to do is cut that spine off the leaves. Nice sharp knife helps. Slice down, watch your thumb, and what it does, it just helps you to roll the leaves up later. Okay then, now that the cabbage prep is out the way for me, if I had a dual induction hob I could do both at the same time, but I don't, so no. Little pan, bit of oil, I'm using MCT oil there, you can use anything you want. Get it warm and then in with the onions. This is a good thing about the induction hobs, they heat up so quickly. You've got to be careful not to start them on too high a heat actually, you can buckle your pans. And all we're trying to do here is just brown the onions off a little bit. And in with the crushed garlic. It's sort of about the smell of onions and garlic cooking together. And like I say, just a couple of 3 minutes, just to brown the onions off. Then in with the mushrooms, they'll sweat down a little bit, another couple of minutes. All you're doing is just preheating it, really, pre-cooking them, so they haven't got to do too much in the oven, you know. Ready cooked. You don't have to cook any of these, mind. You can just put them in raw if you want to. And when they're cooked to your liking, into the mince. Then in with the long grain rice. Parsley. I'm using scissors to cut the parsley. Couldn't be bothered to chop it. Passata. Used about 1/3 of a cup. Maybe a little bit more actually. I used a bit too much, I think. Give it all a stir in. Mix it well. And salt, pepper, paprika to taste. I divvied it up in the bowl a little bit just to see how much there was, and I realised I needed more mince, so I put the rest of the packet in. And obviously mix it in well. And one last thing before we start building the rolls. What I like to do in the bottom of my pan is build like a little trivet. So I slice some cabbage and just lay it in the bottom so that the rolls can sit on it. This just helps them steam a little bit rather than boil at the bottom. And a little drizzle of passata on them just to get a bit of flavour down there. So time to build the rolls. Grab your leaf. Nice handful of the mince mixture, and spine side rolling upwards, tuck the edges in, and carry on rolling. And if it goes wrong, tuck the edges in again, and then place them on the little trivety cabbage mix. So once more, this is a softer leaf, this one. Grab a handful of mix, spine side towards you, roll it upwards, tuck the edges in and carry on rolling, and place on the trivet seam side down, a bit like Chinese pancakes. Mixture in, spine side roll upwards, tuck the edges in, carry on rolling, seam side down. It's automatic now, look. And here we are with all 8 of them in the baking tray, Pyrex tray. We're going to pause here for a moment for a work of art. And I'm just going to drizzle over a can of chopped tomatoes, not the whole can, just enough to cover them, and then a little bit of the beef stock. Gives it a bit of liquid to steam upwards. And I forgot the chopped tomatoes, so I put those on later. Don't! And here's why I took a few more leaves than I needed to cover the top. Just helps keep some of the moisture in. Cover with foil and in the oven about 1.25 hours to start off with at 180 Celsius. And here we are then, 1.25 hours in. I've taken off the foil, taken off the cabbage leaves because they've done their job. They've kept the top nice and moist actually. Poured off a bit of the stock, and all I'm doing now is drizzling a bit back over because I'm going to put this back in the oven uncovered for another half an hour. I don't want it to dry out and go all, you know, crispy, crinkly. Little bit of pepper on top. I like pepper. And here we are then, 1 hour and 45 minutes later, out of the oven. Just sat on the chopping board now, cooling down for a bit before I have a look inside. And yeah, just about touchable, so here we go then. Now these rolls were lovely and firm to get out of the dish. I've done them before and they're a bit squidgy, so these were perfect. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. My first venture in the new food studio. I got a lot of work to do on the audio. Too echoey, so I need some more sound deadening. A couple of canvases will do that. But I'll tell you what a lovely little dish to start off with. Tasty as you like. And the mince was cooked through, the rice, nice and moist. The tomatoes did everything that tomatoes are supposed to do on a dish. Fantastic. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and look forward to more in the future.